Gentlemen, welcome to Blackwatch, the most elite military unit in the world. You are now privy to the following classified information.
Voilà, donc on est avec Dave Fracchia de Radical Entertainment. Hi Dave.
Hello.
So I'm gonna show you some pictures and you're gonna tell me what comes in mind about them.
Okay, afraid already?
Let's go.
All right. Oh yeah, this is great. The story of Mr. Mercer.
So have you worked with the guys that working on comics books?
The Dark Horse Comics?
Yes.
Yeah, we have announced it. It's a great deal. These guys are fantastic, and they're going to help us tell the story that occurs between the first game and the second game. So
Okay.
very, very excited about it, and you know, I've already seen some of the first panels of the new comic book, and it looks fantastic.
They work with the writers on
We're
of the
working
game.
with our writers and with our internal guys and their own creative. I mean, it really is a great, great collaboration between us and Dark Horse.
Okay. No, so one comic book is about Mercer and one about Heller.
Well, all I can say is it's a story of the two of them, so you'll kind of see how it evolves. I don't want to give anything away of what we're actually going to show in there, but trust me, you're going to want to see it.
Okay. So next one.
Okay?
Would you flip?
Ah. I love the tendril powers in Prototype 2, and that's a great one. I mean, our great new powers and ability in the game, and the tendril one is so visceral and so visual, right? When the tendrils come out of Heller and they attach to someone, either viscerally kind of draw and quarter them, or you get that great black hole effect. I mean, it feels like something so new. And especially when you have the tendrils that are left in the world, and you can have an intersection where there's cars and vehicles up in the tendrils and infected and soldiers ripped apart in the tendrils, and it's just such a visual experience. It's
Like a spider web.
Oh, I guess so. Well, nothing like I've seen, that's for sure.
And what about the transformation of Heller, his way to manage the virus and the infection in him?
Oh yeah, because the virus, the blacklight virus, infects everyone in a different way. And so in this case, what makes it really unique is that Mercer has infected Heller. So he certainly has adopted some of those powers, like the claws and the blade arm and the whip fist and the hammer fist and so on. But of course, he's kind of adopted and modified him his own way. And then of course, his own modification or creation of the tendrils. So he is kind of his own unique prototype.
Okay.
All right. Heller versus Mercer. Well, you know, this is the epic story, right? And, you know, we spent a lot of time thinking about where we would take the second one. And we even thought first about continuing on with Alex's story. But he has such godlike powers that to go any further almost went into pure fantasy. And to take them away wasn't fair. So when we realized that the star of Prototype was the blacklight virus, we knew that we really had to look at how it infected someone else. But when we did, we thought, how does he become the prototype? And the idea of having Mercer create the next prototype out of him, I mean, someone who Heller hates, who he blames for the death of his family to the virus, you know, is both ironic and, you know, it actually makes you wonder what is going on, right? And that's what we want the players. We want the players to be so interested in what is happening in the story. What is the collision between the story of where Heller's going and where Mercer is going, and how does that lead to an ultimate climax between the two? Right, that's what makes it so interesting and so powerful. And right here, it's so set up like a Heller versus Mercer kind of, you know, UFC battle. It's quite incredible.
And that's, there are two stories in the game. So you have the stories about Mercer versus Heller and Heller versus the Blackwatch.
Oh yeah, because of course, you know, there's the A story. For us, the A story is the interaction between Heller and Mercer, but the B story is what are Blackwatch and Gentek doing in these zones? Right, and you've got three very, very distinct zones, and that's kind of the B story that really creates more and more interesting context around the other story, and actually has an influence as well as it comes in and out of that story. So again, you know, it makes it for a much richer, fuller experience.
Okay.
All right.
So my question:
Yep.
Why New York, and why not another city like Los Angeles or?
Right. So there's multiple reasons, right? I mean, we first started in New York because it's such an iconic city. Right, for a worldwide game, everyone knows New York, and its landscape was great for being able to have our ultimate kind of parkouring over. The other part of it was just this population. We wanted density, right? We wanted a lot of quantity in the game, so that's how we started that way. The reason we went back to it was we didn't finish there. You know, Mercer reconstituted on the shores of Manhattan. You know, the virus is still in existence. We hadn't finished that story. To leave it just because To leave it because we were worried about being criticized for going back to New York was not the right reason. What we did know is we could take New York further. You know, like any story, when an infection breaks out, it changes the environment. And in this case, it's changed it very radically with the 3 zones. You know, you got part of the former Manhattan from the first game. It has now become this viral wasteland where war is being waged between the military, Blackwatch, and the infected. Right? It's very different than the first one. You got collapsed skyscrapers and tendrils everywhere and fires burning and infected everywhere. Very, very, very different. You wouldn't recognize it as New York except for the fact that the landmarks may exist.
Yes.
And then the green and yellow zone, right? The very, very infection-free and safe green zone where Gentek has their headquarters. Well, not so safe because, of course, it's very militarized. Plus, you never know what's going to happen next in that zone. It's infection-free for now. And then, of course, the yellow zone where they've moved most of the people that have survived to the red zone. Not going to put them by the headquarters. They don't want to mess up that peacefulness. But, you know, it's so many people there and it's overcrowded and there's a lot of despair. And the fact that Gentek is experimenting with them, with the virus, makes it that much more nefarious. So these 3 really distinct regions really make it like a New York like no other. And so that's why, you know, when people say we're back to New York, we're back to New York after a viral outbreak. It is very different.
Okay.
All right, what do you got next?
The last one?
Of course, the open world gameplay.
Yeah.
You know, to make a great open world game, the world has to be alive, right? You have to have a reason to want to go into the open world. If your open world is dead, then really what's the point of even doing it? What's the point of going beyond the story, right? The reason the story is interesting, it drives you through the zones. It progresses you in terms of your major powers. That's why it's great going in there. But once you have them, being able not only to go into the open world and do open world missions, which give you more of that B story, right? Which give you that context and give you these great mutations that you can use to customize your character. There's the sandbox play on top of it. The fact that you can go and watch people in the world if you want. Just walk around. And it's interesting, right? They're congregating. They're talking to each other. They're sitting down and not feeling well, right?
Just living.
Yeah, they're just trying to live, right? The fact that you can cause your own chaos in that world, whether you cause an alert or not. I can pick someone up and everyone screams and trips over each other, and you put the person down and they might even thank you for doing that, right? I mean, it makes you feel like there's a living world around you. And that's really the key to open world.
Okay. Thank you for these answers.
Oh, thank you.
You are Blackwatch. You will not fail. Dismissed.